Let's do some examples from our practice problems. The first page here says to calculate the slope and y-intercept, and then write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form, point slope form, and standard form. Well, the first thing that we need to do for anything is to find a slope. So I am going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. Then I write my formula, slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and then I simply substitute in. So y2 is 5 minus, this is always a minus equation, y1 is 1 over x2 is 5 minus x1 is a negative 5. I am substituting in exactly the number I am given, so I am putting in a minus 5. Now I simply do the math. M equals 5 minus 1 is 4. 5 minus 5 minus a minus is plus plus. 5 plus 5 is 10. I always reduce my fractions, so my slope is 2 over 5. So let's do slope-intercept form first. Y equals mx plus b. I always write my formulas. So now we do not know our y-intercept. We are going to be following the examples in your handout under the heading writing slope-intercept form with an unknown b. So we don't know b, but what do we know? We know a slope and we know a point, a y value and an x value. So I am going to substitute in the values. I can use either point. Let's use the first point. It doesn't matter. We will get the same answer no matter which point we use, because this x and y in our equation here represent all possible values of x and y on our line. So I'm just going to substitute in y is 1 equals our slope is 2 over 5. Our x value is a negative 5. I'm going to put it in as a fraction because when we're dealing with fractions, everybody's a fraction. And plus b because I do not know my v value. Now I just do the math. 1 equals, cross cancel these. This becomes 1, this becomes negative 1, a negative 2 plus b. Now I solve for b, so I add 2 to both sides. 3 equals b. I now have a b value. I simply take my b value, my y-intercept, and my slope, and put it into my y equals mx plus b. So y equals slope 2 over 5, x plus 3. I now have slope-intercept form. Done the first part. Next on our list says to write it in point-slope form. Point-slope form is pretty easy to write. Our formula, always write my formula first, y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. And I simply substitute in. We are told to use the right-hand point, so that's this one here. Now, I know it's already labeled x2, y2, but that doesn't matter. We can now call it x1, y1 for the purpose of this formula. So I am only going to substitute in y minus, my y1 value is 5, equals my slope, which is 2 over 5, times the quantity x minus my x1 value is 5, and we have a point slope form. Point slope form is really easy to write. It's less useful for giving us information about the situation in the graph. Our final requirement here is to write in standard form. Standard form is our ax plus by equals c. So we need to start with either slope-intercept form or point-slope form. It doesn't matter which one. Point-slope form would require distributing and then using our properties of equality. So I'm going to start with my slope-intercept form and go from there, just because it has fewer steps. So I need x and y on the same side, so I'm going to subtract 2 over 5x from both sides. These are not like terms. 2 over 5x plus y, these cancel, equals 3. Remember, our rule says that our leading coefficient has to be positive, and it also needs to be a whole number. So how do I get rid of divided by 5? I am going to multiply my entire equation by 5. That's going to cancel out that. And I'm going to get rid of the negative at the same time. So I'm going to multiply everything in here by negative 5. When I multiply this fraction by negative 5, I end up with a positive 2x multiplied by negative 5 minus 5y equals, and don't forget the guy on the end, minus 15. I now have a positive whole number leading coefficient, and I have standard form. So that's how we write slope-intercept form with an unknown b, point-slope form, and standard form. Let's do an example from page 3. It says graph the line, identify the slope, and write our equation in slope-intercept form and point-slope form. First thing I'm going to do is plot the point that I am given. I'm given the point 3, 4. This is my x value and my y value. I go over 3 on x and down 4. There is my point 3, 4. Negative 4, sorry. 3, negative 4. Now I'm going to plot my y-intercept. Y-intercept, this means a point at 0, 2, over 0, up 2. There is my y-intercept, 2 points. Now make a line. I take my straight edge, always extend to the edge of the graph, put arrows on it because it is a line. Now I can find my slope. I draw my slope triangle, rise, and then run. I always work from the left-hand point to the right-hand point. So I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a negative 6. And I run 1, 2, 3. So my slope is going to be a negative 6 rise over a positive 3 run. And we always reduce our fractions. So that is a negative 2 or negative 2 over 1. Slope is always a fraction, but we can just write it as a negative 2 because we know that's over 1. So now I can write my equations. Slope-intercept form is easy. I have a slope and a y-intercept, so y equals mx plus b. Y equals, our slope is negative 2x plus our y-intercept is 2. There's slope-intercept form. Now, point-slope form, write my formula. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. I simply substitute in y minus, we're told to use our given point. My y value is a negative 4. Don't forget this is a minus equation. And my y value is negative 4 put it in exactly as it's given. My slope is a -2 times the quantity x minus my x value is 3. And now I simplify. A minus minus is always a plus plus. So y plus 4 equals -2 times x minus 3. So slope-intercept form, point-slope form. And page 4. Use your x and y intercepts to graph the line. Do not forget your intercepts happen at the 0 value of the other point. So to find my y-intercept, I use x equals 0. I take my given standard form equation of my line and substitute in x equals 0. That goes away, and I'm left with 9y equals 18. Simply solve for y equals 2. So I now have an x value and a y value. X is 0, y is 2. When x is 0, y equals 2. I can now go plot that over 0 up 2. There's my y-intercept. To calculate my x-intercept happens on the x-axis. My x-intercept happens at y equals 0. So I'm simply going to take my standard form, substitute in y equals 0. That goes away. That's why we love this. Solve 2x equals 18. Solve for x equals 9. I now have an x value and a y value. So I can write a point, 9, 0. So now I can plot this point over 9. So it's 5. We'll just add 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll improvise here. That's 9, 0. I can now graph my line. Get my straight edge. Extend to the edges of the graph. Put arrows on it because it is a line. And now we are supposed to rewrite the line in slope-intercept form. So we can do that simply by solving the equation. So we can do 2x plus 9y equals 18. I can subtract 2x from both sides. 9y equals, these are not like terms, so minus 2x plus 18. Still need 9 by itself. Divide everybody by 9. And we're left with y equals a -2 over 9x plus 2. So this is my slope-intercept form, and we can go check our line and see if that's true. Here we have our y-intercept at 2. That's what we see. And our slope is a rise of -2 and a run of 9. So we said that slope is -2 over 9. Y-intercept happens at 2, 0, 2, because it's a point. So there we go. Using our intercepts to graph our line. So I hope that is helpful in understanding how to graph a line from standard form using your x and y intercepts, how to use your slope and a given point to plot a line, write slope-intercept form, write point-slope form, and how to write slope-intercept form with an unknown b, an unknown y-intercept. I hope you enjoy linear equations.